Hello everyone, welcome back. In last video, we talked about how to write a test case using data providers. Now in this video, we'll see how to run test case parallelly using XML file. Now, uh, here I'm going to create one more test case. In that test case, what I'm going to do basically is I'm going to search for product. So here in search shop, I'll just search for a product, click the search button. Once the search product is available, after that, I'll click on this add to cart. And once it's added, then I'll click on this and do checkout. Now in this series, I'm just doing two test cases, or I'm just creating for two different classes code. In my past framework series, there I have created more test cases. I have done more programs there. So it's like it's already there. So I'm just taking two test cases. Here in this series, more we are focused on the Jenkins section. So we need to have a proper project to run on Jenkins to show different activities on Jenkins. So that's why I'm doing a new one instead of taking the old one. So here I've written less test cases in comparison to the old one, but yeah, more videos you'll have on Jenkins. So here now I'll write the test cases for this particular process where I'll just search a product. I'll click the add to cart button, and then I'll do checkout. That's three things we'll be doing here. Now, as usual, what we need to do is first we need to create a class here in pages. So here you can do right click, go to new, and here you can name it as search pages. Now, as usual, now follow with the last steps that we have done in the video before this. Follow the same step and then move accordingly. So in the last video, what we did first is we created an constructor of this class. So we'll do the same thing again. We'll create a constructor of this class. Once the constructor is done, what's the next step? Here, uh, it's quite obvious that this constructor will take WebDriver value first. So I do that. Now this is common in every cases. So now what I'm doing, it's a common step. I'm trying to make things similar so it will be easy for you to understand when you'll be writing test cases for another pages. So when you write the pages test cases for on your own, then maybe you'll be able to figure it out that how exactly we have to approach. Now once this is done, the next thing what we'll do here is, okay, I need to define this WebDriver. Okay, this way, make it as WebDriver. Now the same way, pass the value or make it this dot driver is equals to L driver. Now by this, you will get an idea that you see how less time we take to write this code and type code. So it's not that tough. Now I say page factory dot init element, and in init pass the driver, and here mention this keyword. Now once this is done, what I have to do is I have to locate the elements, write the steps, and then proceed. So now you already know how to locate elements. You have done this before. In the last video, I've just explained how to locate element, how to inspect, and just to create objects for every section. This time, I'm not going to do the same way. I'll just write the steps because already I have these elements with me. So you can inspect and just run one by one. So here again, go import the web element. That's all. Now I'll just change few names. Okay, this is for product kill. Click. Now the first one is home text. Now once you have logged in, yeah, here this is one process. See, when you log in, when you enter the email address, when you enter the password, then the page that appears is this one. So if you want to go to the orders section, you can click the orders page. If you want to go to the home section, click the home page. So I want to go to the home section. So I'll click on home page. That's why I've located element for the home text as well. Okay, this is for search product. This is for search button. Once that's done, product kill. Now this one is add cart, and this one is for checkout. That's all. Now just below this, as usual, I'm going to create a method that is search product. That's all. Now inside this, uh, so inside this, you have to just use the these. First, I will use home text. All right, home text dot click. So this will click on the home screen. After that, search product. Now search product is a input section. So in search product, I will use dot send keys, and here I'll send the value to search. Now you can pass the value from the Excel sheet. I'm passing it manually because already I've shown you how to read from the Excel sheet. So I'm not writing that step again and again. Later you can do. So you can read from the Excel sheet and see if you have understand the Excel sheet concept or not. Now the next one will be, after you have passed the value, you need to click the search button. Now after that, click the product button. That will help you to add to cart. Once this is done, then click on the cart button. And at last, just you need to check out. So write checkout dot click. Now these are the steps. So it's similar to the way we have done in login page. So I hope it's very similar and you can relate with that. Now when I'm writing the test cases, here again I'll do create a new class, and here I'll write search test case. Now understand one thing here. When you'll run this test case, so the process will be like, first you will log in, then you will come to the home page, you will click the home button, and then you will move to the search product. Now just follow the steps. So the first step is login. So at this point, you can't skip the first step. That's login. So what you will do? Either you'll do one thing, you'll go to the login test, you'll copy the things from here and then pass it, run it again. Again, this is a data provider one, so you'll try to avoid that. So you like to create a separate method and then write the login code for that. Again, you create one more method and then you write the code for search test. That's also a process. That's a simpler one. I'll make things a little bit standard. First, let me extend the base class. Now, one thing here, because we are extending the base class and this login section is common for every test case. Now you are writing the search test case. Next time you'll write the payment test case. Again, you will need that login section. So again, you will need that details of login. So every time, instead of asking for, or every time instead of writing this method again and again, what we can do is, okay, when we are writing the methods, then we will need the username and password as well from the Excel sheet. Now here we have done data driven testing, but every time we are not going to apply data driven testing. This time just we will need the username, the correct credentials from the Excel sheet, and run it straight away. So what I'm going to do here is, in base class, I'll just write string username is equals to read Excel file, and call the method as. Now, one more thing. In read Excel file, if you get back to read Excel file, here, if you get back in utilities, if you get back to read Excel file over here, then in this read Excel file, you will find one for to get the value, the certain cell value. So here you have to pass the file name, you can pass the sheet name, and then pass the rows and columns accordingly. Or instead of doing that, instead of passing the file name every time, or like here you can pass based on seat name, the row value, the column number. So basically this will help when you are trying to get the data in form of string. Remember that. So you want that, okay, data is in form of string or data is in numeric form, then in that case we can go for these methods as well. So when you'll pass the seat name and all, you will get the details accordingly. So here you can go with both ways. So both ways are possible. So here what I'm going to do, instead of creating, now here one more thing you can do. Here these methods, if you see, it's a non-static method. Get string data, it's a non-static method. But this get cell value is a static method. So this one you can call from any place. But to call these methods, you need to create an object for this class. That is read Excel file. You need to create an option. You need to create an object for this, and then you can call the methods inside the Excel file. So though I've created the method, I'm not using it. I'm created the object for this, but I'm not using it right now. But this step I've kept it in the base class, that in future if I need, I'll take it straight away. Now these things will be needed in future, like when you are doing payment section, maybe you'll pass certain amount or price you'll be passing, then there you can use get numerical data. Numeric data. So that will be straight away. Here I'm just keeping in general that I'm taking the username and password. So I straight away I'll call the static method, that is get cell value. Now this asks for file name. So for file name, what you have to do? Go back to login test. In the very first line, this is for file location. Save it here. Now these details, if stays in base class, in every test cases, we are going to extend the base class. So we can easily fetch these informations from here. That's why we are going with this process. So we don't need to write these methods again and again. Now file name, next one will be the seat name. So for login, always the seat name will be login. That's already mentioned. If you don't know how these things are happening, so you can watch my the other video, the last video. There I have read, I'm reading the data from the Excel sheet, so you'll get a better idea from there. Okay, now the second one will be for password. So here again use read Excel file dot get cell value, pass the file name, again the seat name, and after that the row column, the row and column index number. Now this will give me the username and password value from that location, from the Excel file locations. So if you are like the Excel file related, if you have any doubt or any questions related that from where I'm bringing the Excel file, from where I'm reading the Excel file. So for that, you can watch my the last video there. I have just done this. So you'll get a better idea. We have done in proper way. So you'll get a complete idea from there. Now let's get back to the search test case. Let's save this in base class, whatever is done. Go to search test case, extend the base class. Now just create one method, that is public void search product. First thing, you need to call the method from login page. So now again, if you want, you can create an object for login page as well here in the base class. So if you want, you can create a separate object for login page, and just like you can create the object, just like you have created the object for Excel file. Now these are from the utilities section, like creating an object for config data. This is for Excel file. Same way you can create an object for login pages as well. Now why I'm doing this is because this is a common step. If you'll see, this thing I'm going to use in every class. So instead of defining in every class, I'll straight away take from the base class. And every time I'll pass the driver details as well from here. That's done. So in search test case, Just I will use this LP dot change visibility to protected. Okay, I done that because we are extending, so it's like we'll change the visibility to protected. Done. Now I'll do LP dot, and from here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call the, sorry, it's portal. I've given the wrong spellers. That's why I'm typing every time wrong. Okay, so here straight away I'm passing the username as well. The username is picked from the base class, as well as I'm passing the password, both. Now these two details will also, now again there I have to change the visibility of password to protected. Remember, when you are extending the class, then in that case, we make all the variables, the objects, everything will make it as protected. Will not keep it as public. Okay, we need to add protected. So that means it will be used only in extended class. It will not be used everywhere. So now this will pass the username and password. Now what I have to do here is I have to create object for search pages. Now for this, you don't need to create an object in the base class, because this we are going to use only in this particular test case. So it's not necessary that we have to create object for this as well. For login, it's common thing, so I have created there. I hope you have understood that concept, or you are getting that thing, because I'm extending the base class, so it's like I'm just picking the details from here. So instead of writing the complete code, just to skip that, I'm doing this. Now using this, I'll call the method that is search product. That's all. Done, and the complete process will execute. Now just you have to write this much and everything will work. So see, I've cut down the steps as much as possible. Now usually when you run the test case, how do you run? You go, you do right click, go to run as, and then do basically here, yeah, you have not applied the test annotations. That's one thing that's missing. So apply the test annotations. Done. So usually when you run, you do this way, you do right click, you go to run as, and you go to TestNG and run the test cases. Now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an XML file for every section. Now you'll say, what's the uses of XML file? Why we are using the XML file? You'll have these type of questions. So let me explain you that. So let's understand the XML file in TestNG. So TestNG XML file is a setup or configuration file that helps us in organizing our test cases in right pattern. In right pattern means that in XML file, we can write the classes, the test cases separately. That whichever test case I want to execute, that particular test case, I'll mark it there, I'll mention it there, and I'll run accordingly. It also helps us in making test suites and test methods. By using XML file approach, it makes easy to understand the code. So when we are writing in XML file, what we do in XML file is basically we go and in XML file, just we define the classes which I'm going to execute. The XML file will help us to add the listeners as well. So how to create this XML file is very easy. Now you see, usually when we run a test case, we run basically a class that's related to that particular test case. So right now, if I want to run this search test case, so I'll go to this particular class, I'll do right click, go to TestNG and do convert to TestNG. So here you see in the locations, you'll find the XML name, that is testng.xml. So I just do finish, and this XML file is created. Now what do you see in this XML file? So in this XML file, you see that the class name is mentioned. And this is how it looks like. So it comes by default. You have to do nothing, just you have to create it, and you see the class name is mentioned. So because the class name is mentioned, just try to right click, I run TestNG suite from here. Okay, and this particular test case will run. So whichever test case you want to run, just run it, go right click, run it, and you will be able to see that. Now here we'll do small changes. That is, in base class, what I've done is I've defined this new login page driver here itself. So just this thing, you remove it from here, just define the object there, and in class or in the test case where you are executing it, there you give the, sorry, there you basically initialize that particular object. That's all. Just this is the small changes that you have to do, and rest things will work as it is. So you have the driver details as well here coming from base classes. So just you have to do this small change. That initialization thing, we'll do it here. What's the name? Login pages. That's all. There we have just defined there in the base class. Here I'm assigning value to this, and using this object I'm calling the portal login. So just don't forget to do the small changes in base class. Just define the object, and here just initialize this. Now this is the search test case. I get back to my XML file. See here in the XML file the class name is defined, so that means it will execute search test class. Now I do run as, I click TestNG suite and see what happens. So it opens the website, maximize it, click the login image, enter the login details, sign in, click on home, search for the product, click the search button, add to cart, checkout. So now you are into this page. So I've showed these steps manually, and I'm doing it now through automation. You see the complete step is executing. So that's how the complete process works. Now, one more thing that you will come to know from here is the parallel testing. So this is like I'm running one test case at a time. So here you also have one of the concept that's called as parallel testing. And I'll tell you what exactly the parallel testing thing is. So the parallel testing, basically the main purpose of running tests in parallel mode is to reduce execution time and to maximize environment coverage in less time. So TestNG helps to run test, method, classes in parallel. So using TestNG.xml file, one can specify parallel attributes to class, test, and method. So here you have one of the features like parallel testing. So what you can do in this parallel testing? In this parallel testing, just you can run multiple classes parallelly. So already I have one TestNG class. So what I'm going to do is for this now, I'm going to create a new XML file. So I go to this package. Here I have both the classes and I want to run both of the classes parallelly. So I go to this package, right click here. From here, I go to this TestNG option. And from there, I go to convert to TestNG. Now you see the parallel mode. This is one of the option as parallel mode. You need to change the name that you want to run parallel classes. So change it into class mode. And also you need to give a different name to this XML file because already we have one XML file with testng.xml. Done. So a new XML file is built. These are the parallel classes that will run parallelly. What I'm going to do, right click, go to run as testng suite. Now what will happen here? Two test cases running in parallel mode. So altogether you will see like two test cases for login and one test cases for the search code. So altogether you will have three test cases, and you'll have the details of all the three test cases. So how many executed, how many passed, and how many failed, it's like that. So I've still not used that close driver.close. So it's not closing on its own because I want you to see everything happening, because if I put driver.close, the execution will be more faster. Now here you see total test run 3, 1 for search test case, 2 for the login process. In login process, you remember, if you have watched my last videos, you'll see there one test case failed, one passed, because I'm applying data driven testing. So that's the reason, one failure, one pass, and one for test case. So that's how you see here it's executing parallelly. So this is how you can execute the test case parallel as well. So same you can apply for methods, you can apply for test cases, you can do for all. So here, I hope the concept of XML is clear. In fact, that concept is also clear how we are executing it from the XML file, as well as how we are running the classes in parallel. I hope that's also clear. So this is all in this video. In next video, I'll talk about how to generate reports, and how to execute reports. So stay tuned and keep watching my videos. Till then, bye bye and thank you.